I give up, these three words, when spoken, can carry immense weight. They can feel like an admission of failure, a surrender to defeat, or even a cry for help. But what if I told you that these words, when truly understood, could hold the power to liberate your life? What if giving up wasn't the end, but a profound beginning? Too often we've been conditioned to see giving up as weakness, as if persistence alone will guarantee success. But there is a deep wisdom in knowing when to release something, when to let go, and when to step back and allow life to unfold without our constant grip. I give up is not a sign of surrendering to failure, it is an act of surrendering to truth. Giving up doesn't mean we stop trying. It doesn't mean we stop dreaming or aspiring. Giving up means releasing the burdens that are not ours to carry. It means stepping out of battles that are not worth fighting. It means acknowledging that we have limits, that some paths are not ours to walk, and that control is not the same as power. Life has taught me that sometimes the greatest breakthrough comes not in holding on, but in letting go. Imagine standing in a river, gripping a branch that flows against the current. Your instinct tells you to hold tight. That letting go might sweep you away. But the truth is, the branch is what's holding you back. The river knows where it's going. And if you would only release your grip, you'd find yourself carried to a place far greater than where you started. Giving up, in this sense, is not about weakness, it's about trust. Trusting that life has a rhythm, a flow, and a purpose far beyond what you can see. When we say, I give up, we are releasing the need to force things to happen. How much of your life has been spent trying to control outcomes that were never within your power? How many sleepless nights have you endured worrying about things that were never meant to be fixed by you? We exhaust ourselves emotionally and physically trying to steer every detail to bend reality to our will. But giving up is the realization that life's beauty is in its unpredictability. It's the understanding that some doors must close for others to open, and that holding on too tightly can suffocate the very dreams we're trying to nurture. Giving up is about letting go of resistance. Resistance to change, resistance to growth. Resistance to pain. We resist because we fear what lies on the other side. We cling to what is familiar, even when it no longer serves us, because stepping into the unknown feels too risky. But the truth is, the unknown is where life begins. When we give up, we stop fighting the tide and start moving with it. We stop viewing challenges as obstacles and start seeing them as opportunities to grow. We stop asking, why is this happening to me? And start asking, what is this trying to teach me? Sometimes giving up is about walking away from relationships, situations, or habits that drain our spirit. It's about understanding that not everyone is meant to stay in your life forever. Not every battle is yours to fight. Not every opportunity is meant to be seized. Saying I give up is not abandoning the situation, it's reclaiming your power. It's saying I will no longer pour my energy into things that do not align with my purpose. It's deciding that your peace is more valuable than proving a point or winning an argument. But giving up also requires humility. It requires us to admit that we don't have all the answers, that we're not always right, that our plans, no matter how well thought out, may not align with the greater plan. Humility is the gateway to wisdom. When we give up our pride, our need to always be in control, we create space for something greater than ourselves to take over. Call it destiny, call it purpose, call it divine guidance, whatever it is, it cannot flow into a life that is tightly controlled by fear and ego. When we give up, we make room for that guidance to lead us. And yet, giving up is not a one-time decision, it's a daily practice. Every day, we are faced with situations that challenge our patience, our resilience, and our sense of self. Every day, we must choose what to hold on to and what to release. Giving up is not about abandoning effort, it's about redirecting it. It's about pouring your energy into the things that matter and letting go of the things that don't. It's about focusing not on what you can't control, but on what you can, the way you respond, the way you grow, the way you keep moving forward, even when the path isn't clear. Saying, I give up is also an act of forgiveness. Forgiveness of others, yes, but also forgiveness of yourself. We carry so much guilt and shame for the mistakes we've made, for the opportunities we've missed, for the people we couldn't save. But what if you gave up the need to carry those burdens? What if you forgave yourself for not being perfect, for not having it all figured out, for being human? What if you allowed yourself to start fresh, to begin again, without the weight of the past holding you back? Giving up is not about erasing the past, it's about releasing its hold on you. There's a freedom that comes with saying, I give up a freedom to be who you truly are without the masks without the pretense, without the constant striving to be something you're not. Giving up means letting go of the expectations that others have placed on you and that you've placed on yourself. It means embracing your authentic self, flaws and all, and understanding that you are enough just as you are. It means stepping off the treadmill of comparison and competition and finding peace in your own journey. When you give up, you also rediscover your inner strength. Because in the act of releasing what no longer serves you, you make room for what does. You begin to see clearly what truly matters in life. You start to focus on the relationships, the goals, and the values that align with your purpose. You stop wasting energy on things that drain you and start investing in the things that fulfill you. Giving up is not about losing, it's about gaining clarity, focus, and peace. So when you feel overwhelmed, when the weight of the world feels too heavy, when you've done all you can and it still feels like it's not enough, remember this: it's okay to give up. Not on yourself, not on your dreams, but on the need to control everything. It's okay to release what's not yours to carry. It's okay to trust that life has a way of working itself out, even when you can't see the path ahead. Giving up is not an end, it's a beginning. It's the start of a life lived with intention, with purpose, and with peace. Let go, trust, and watch how life unfolds in ways you never imagined. Giving up is a concept often misunderstood in the world we live in. It's associated with weakness, failure, or lack of determination. Yet the truth is far more profound. To give up is not to quit on life, on dreams, or on aspirations. Is to release the need for control. And therein lies the power. There's a profound strength in knowing when to let go, when to stop forcing outcomes that refuse to align with your purpose, and when to surrender to the greater flow of life. The act of giving up is not a resignation, it's an intentional decision to release the grip on something that no longer serves you, that drains your energy, or that stands in the way of your peace. Control is a seductive illusion. From the time we are young, we are taught that control is necessary to succeed. We're encouraged to plan, to strategize, to work hard to make things happen exactly as we envision them. While effort and dedication are indeed important, there's a fine line between striving with intention and forcing an outcome that's not meant to be. Life, with all its beauty and complexity, is not always something that can be controlled. The weather changes unexpectedly, people behave unpredictably, and plans often fall apart. But instead of seeing this as chaos, what if we viewed it as the natural flow of life, a flow that, if we let go of control, might actually guide us to something better than we could ever have imagined? The struggle for control is exhausting. When we cling too tightly to our expectations, we set ourselves up for disappointment, frustration, and even despair. How often have you tried to manipulate every detail of a situation only to find yourself more stressed and farther from your goal? The more we resist, the harder life pushes back, as if to remind us that control was never ours to begin with. And yet, it is in the act of giving up, not quitting, but releasing, that we find peace. Peace comes not from trying to bend the world to our will, but from aligning ourselves with its natural rhythm. It's about recognizing that life is a partnership, not a battle. Releasing control is not passive. It's not about sitting back and waiting for life to happen to you. On the contrary, it requires immense courage and faith. Courage to step back from the fight, and faith to trust that things will unfold as they should. It means taking inspired action without attachment to the outcome. It's showing up for life, fully doing your part, and then allowing the rest to unfold. This balance between effort and surrender is where true mastery lies. It's the ability to pour your energy into what you can control while letting go of what you cannot. When you give up the need to control everything, you gain the freedom to focus on what truly matters. This shift in perspective can transform your entire life. Imagine carrying a heavy bag filled with rocks. Each rock represents something you're trying to control: your relationships, your career, your finances, even your identity. The more rocks you add, the heavier the bag becomes, until eventually it's impossible to move forward. Giving up doesn't mean abandoning the bag altogether. It means emptying it of the rocks that aren't yours to carry. It's about identifying what truly belongs to you, what you can influence and change, and letting go of the rest. The moment you release what's weighing you down, you begin to feel lighter, freer, and more capable of walking your path. One of the greatest barriers to releasing control is fear. Fear of the unknown, fear of failure, fear of judgment, or fear of losing something or someone. We cling to control because we believe it will protect us from these fears. We tell ourselves that if we can just manage everything perfectly, nothing will go wrong. But the truth is, life is unpredictable, and no amount of control can shield us from its uncertainties. The irony is that in our attempt to control everything, we often create more fear, more stress, and more resistance. Giving up is not about ignoring these fears. It's about facing them head on and realizing that they don't have to rule your life. It's about understanding that you don't need to have all the answers right now and that it's okay to take one step at a time. Another reason we resist giving up control is pride. We want to believe that we can handle everything, that we don't need help, and that admitting otherwise is a sign of weakness. But true strength lies in humility. It's the ability to recognize when we've reached our limits and to ask for help when we need it. It's the courage to admit that we don't have all the answers and that sometimes the best thing we can do is step aside and let life take the lead. Pride keeps us stuck in a cycle of struggle, but humility opens the door to freedom. When we let go of our need to control everything, we create space for grace, for miracles, and for possibilities we never could have imagined. Letting go of control also allows us to live more fully in the present moment. So much of our anxiety comes from trying to control the future or fix the past. We obsess over what might happen, what could go wrong, or what we should have done differently. But life is happening now, in this moment, and when we're consumed with control, we miss it. Giving up is an invitation to return to the present, to focus on what is within our reach right now, and to let the rest unfold in its own time. It's about trusting that the future will take care of itself and that the past no longer defines you. It's about being here fully present and embracing the beauty and imperfection of life as it is. There's a deep peace that comes with giving up the illusion of control. It's not the peace of everything going perfectly according to plan, but the peace of knowing that you don't have to have it all figured out. It's the peace of releasing the constant battle to force things into place and instead allowing them to fall into place naturally. It's the peace of trusting that life is not something to be controlled, but something to be experienced. And in that experience, you'll find that even the challenges, the detours, and the unexpected turns are all part of a greater journey. Giving up is not about resignation, it's about liberation. It's about freeing yourself from the chains of expectation, perfectionism, and fear. It's about understanding that control is not where your power lies. Your power lies in your ability to adapt, to grow, and to trust in the unfolding of your life. It's about finding the balance between effort and surrender, between doing your best and knowing when to let go. It's about recognizing that you are not the sole architect of your life, but a co-creator with forces far greater than yourself. Life is a dance, and control is the partner that refuses to let you move freely. When you give up, you allow yourself to be led by the rhythm of life. You stop trying to anticipate every step and instead start feeling the music. You stop worrying about what others think and start focusing on how you feel. You stop trying to control the outcome and start enjoying the journey. Giving up is not about giving in, it's about rising above. It's about choosing peace over perfection, trust over fear, and freedom over control. When you release control, you open yourself up to possibilities that were once hidden. You begin to see opportunities where before you saw only obstacles. You start to attract the people, resources, and experiences that align with your highest good. You begin to realize that life is not something that happens to you, but something that happens for you. Giving up is not an end, it's a beginning. It's the start of a life lived with intention, with purpose, and with peace. And in that surrender, you find not weakness, but the greatest strength of all. Letting go is one of the most profound acts of self-liberation a person can undertake. It is not a sign of weakness or failure, but rather an acknowledgement that holding on too tightly to something can hinder your growth and block your potential. Life is not static, it is a constant flow of change, a rhythm of beginnings and endings. When you hold on to something that has already served its purpose, you create stagnation within yourself, preventing new opportunities, experiences, and insights from coming into your life. Letting go is not about giving up, it is about making space for something greater to emerge, something more aligned with who you are becoming. It is a deliberate act of clearing out the old to invite in the new. It is about stepping into the unknown with faith that what lies ahead is better than what you are leaving behind. We often cling to things, people, and situations because of fear. Fear of the unknown, fear of loss, fear of change. This fear can be paralyzing, convincing us that holding on is safer, that maintaining the status quo is better than risking the discomfort of letting go. But growth cannot happen in comfort. Growth requires movement, and movement means releasing what weighs us down. Whether it's a toxic relationship, a limiting belief, a failed plan, or a painful memory, holding on to what no longer serves you is like carrying a heavy backpack on a long journey. It slows you down, drains your energy, and keeps you from reaching your destination. Letting go is the act of putting down that backpack. It is choosing to lighten your load so you can move forward with greater ease and clarity. Letting go creates a vacuum, a space that was once filled with something outdated or unhelpful, This space is powerful. It is an invitation for growth, for transformation, and for new possibilities to enter your life. Nature abhors a vacuum, and when you release what no longer serves you, the universe rushes to fill that space with something better. But this requires trust. It requires faith in the process of life, faith that what you let go of will be replaced by something more aligned with your highest good. It requires an understanding that endings are not failures, but necessary steps in the journey of becoming. Growth is not linear, and sometimes the greatest leaps forward come from the courage to let go of what is holding you back. Letting go also requires self-awareness. It is not always easy to recognize what needs to be released. Sometimes we hold on to things because they are familiar, even if they are harmful. We cling to old identities, habits, or relationships because they provide a sense of security, even if they keep us stuck. Letting go begins with the willingness to look inward and ask yourself, what am I holding on to that no longer serves me? What am I afraid to release and why? These questions can be uncomfortable, but they are necessary. Growth requires honesty, and honesty begins with yourself. When you identify what is weighing you down, you can begin the process of releasing it with compassion and intention. Letting go is not a one-time event, it is an ongoing practice. Life is constantly changing, and with each new phase comes the need to release something old. This process can be painful at times, especially when it involves letting go of people or dreams you once held dear. But pain is not the enemy. Pain is a teacher, a guide that shows you where healing and growth are needed. When you let go of what no longer serves you, you make room for healing to occur. You allow yourself to process the pain, to learn the lessons it has to offer, and to move forward stronger and wiser than before. Growth is not about avoiding pain, but about transforming it into something meaningful. Letting go also requires forgiveness. Forgiveness of others, and perhaps most importantly, forgiveness of yourself. We often hold on to guilt, shame, or regret, replaying old mistakes and wishing we could change the past. But the past is unchangeable, and clinging to it only robs you of the present. Forgiving yourself is an act of letting go. It is a recognition that you did the best you could with the knowledge and resources you had at the time. It is an acknowledgement that you are human, that you are imperfect, and that imperfection is not a flaw but a part of the human experience. When you forgive yourself, you free yourself from the chains of the past and open the door to growth and transformation. Letting go is not about forgetting, it is about learning. Every experience, even the painful ones, has something to teach you. When you let go of the pain, the resentment, or the attachment, you are not erasing the experience but integrating its lessons into your life. You are allowing yourself to grow from it, to become more resilient, more compassionate, and more aligned with your true self. Growth is not about avoiding challenges, but about using them as stepping stones on your journey. Letting go is the act of taking those challenges and turning them into opportunities for growth. Letting go also means trusting yourself, trusting that you have the strength and wisdom to navigate whatever comes next, trusting that you are capable of adapting, of learning, and of growing. It is easy to doubt yourself, especially when faced with uncertainty. But growth requires self-trust. It requires the belief that you are worthy of something better, that you deserve to grow and to thrive. When you let go of what no longer serves you, you are making a statement to yourself and to the world: I believe in my ability to grow. I believe in my capacity to transform. I believe in my worthiness to receive something better. Letting go is an act of liberation. It frees you from the constraints of the past, from the weight of what no longer serves you, and from the limitations you have placed on yourself. It opens the door to new possibilities, new experiences, and new levels of growth. It is not always easy, but it is always worth it. Growth requires courage, and courage begins with the willingness to let go. It is a journey, not a destination, and with each step, you become more aligned with your true self. When you let go, you create space for growth, and in that space, you discover the infinite potential within you. Humility is one of the most misunderstood yet profoundly transformative virtues a person can cultivate. In a world that often glorifies confidence, dominance, and the pursuit of power, humility is frequently overlooked or misinterpreted as weakness. But true humility is not about devaluing yourself or thinking less of your abilities. It is about understanding your place in the vastness of life, recognizing that no matter how much you know or achieve, there is always more to learn, more to experience, and more to understand. It is through humility that wisdom becomes accessible, because humility creates the space for growth, reflection, and deeper understanding. When you are humble, you do not assume you have all the answers. Instead, you become a student of life, open to its lessons and willing to learn from anyone and anything that crosses your path. The pursuit of wisdom begins with the acknowledgement of one simple truth: you do not know everything. This acknowledgement requires humility, for it forces you to let go of pride and the illusion of certainty. When you embrace humility, you open yourself to the possibility that others might have insights, perspectives, or experiences that can teach you something valuable. Wisdom does not come from stubbornly clinging to your opinions or beliefs. It comes from listening, observing, and being willing to change when confronted with new information or understanding. Humility allows you to approach life with curiosity instead of judgment, with openness instead of defensiveness, and with a willingness to grow instead of a need to prove yourself right. Humility also teaches you to value the experiences and wisdom of others. Every person you encounter has a story, a lesson, or an insight that can expand your understanding of the world. But to truly learn from others, you must first silence the voice of your ego, the part of you that wants to be seen as superior, as knowledgeable, or as unshakable. The ego thrives on comparison and competition, convincing you that admitting ignorance or vulnerability is a sign of weakness. But humility shatters this illusion. It reminds you that strength lies in your ability to learn and adapt, not in pretending to know it all. When you humble yourself enough to listen deeply to others, you gain access to their wisdom, their perspectives, and their truths. This exchange enriches your life in ways that arrogance never could. Humility also opens the door to self-awareness, which is a cornerstone of wisdom. Without humility, it is easy to fall into the trap of self-deception, convincing yourself that you are always right, that your way is the only way, or that you have nothing left to learn. But humility allows you to take an honest look at yourself, your strengths, your weaknesses, your biases, and your blind spots. It enables you to recognize your limitations without shame, knowing that these limitations are simply part of being human. When you are humble, you can acknowledge your mistakes without defensiveness, take responsibility for your actions, and commit to doing better. This kind of self-awareness is essential for growth, for it allows you to see where you need to improve and gives you the courage to take the necessary steps. Another profound aspect of humility is its ability to foster resilience. Life is full of challenges, failures, and setbacks, and it is often in these moments of difficulty that humility reveals its true power. When you are humble, you do not see failure as a reflection of your worth or as the end of your journey. Instead, you see it as an opportunity to learn, to grow, and to try again. Humility gives you the grace to accept your imperfections and the strength to keep moving forward despite them. It teaches you that success is not about never falling, but about rising each time you do. This resilience, born of humility, is a key ingredient in the pursuit of wisdom, for it allows you to navigate life's challenges with grace and determination. Humility also deepens your connection to others. When you approach relationships with humility, you do so with a spirit of equality and respect. You recognize that no one is inherently better or worse than anyone else, and this recognition fosters empathy, compassion, and understanding. Humility allows you to see the humanity in others, to appreciate their unique journeys, and to learn from their experiences. It removes the barriers of judgment and superiority, creating space for genuine connection and mutual growth. Wisdom is not only about intellectual knowledge, but also about the ability to navigate relationships with kindness, respect, and emotional intelligence. Humility is the foundation of these qualities, for it reminds you that everyone has something valuable to offer, and everyone is worthy of dignity and respect. Humility also transforms the way you view life's uncertainties and complexities. It teaches you to let go of the need for absolute certainty and to embrace the unknown with curiosity and trust. Many people resist humility because they fear it will make them vulnerable, but in truth, humility is one of the greatest sources of strength. It frees you from the pressure to have all the answers, to always be right, or to control everything around you. Instead, it allows you to live in a state of openness and surrender, trusting that life is a continuous journey of discovery and growth. This perspective is the essence of wisdom, for wisdom is not about having all the answers, but about knowing how to navigate the questions. Humility also nurtures gratitude, which is another pathway to wisdom. When you are humble, you recognize that you are not self-sufficient, that your life is intertwined with the efforts, kindness, and contributions of others. This awareness fosters a deep sense of gratitude for the people, experiences, and opportunities that have shaped your journey. Gratitude in turn opens your heart and mind, allowing you to see life through a lens of abundance rather than scarcity. It reminds you that even in moments of difficulty, there is always something to be thankful for, always something to learn, and always a reason to keep going. Gratitude born of humility is a powerful force, for it keeps you grounded, present, and open to the beauty and lessons of life. Perhaps most importantly, humility aligns you with truth. The pursuit of wisdom is ultimately a pursuit of truth about yourself, about others, and about the world around you. But truth cannot be found in arrogance, pretense, or denial. It can only be found in humility, in the willingness to confront reality as it is, not as you wish it to be. Humility strips away the illusions of ego, allowing you to see clearly and honestly. It invites you to embrace the complexity of life, to seek understanding rather than certainty, and to remain open to new insights and perspectives. This alignment with truth is the essence of wisdom, for it enables you to live with authenticity, integrity, and purpose. Humility is not a destination, but a practice, a way of being that you cultivate over time. It requires conscious effort, self-reflection, and a willingness to let go of pride and pretense. But the rewards of humility are immeasurable. It opens the door to wisdom, to growth, to deeper connections, and to a more meaningful and fulfilling life. It reminds you that true strength lies not in how much you know or how much you achieve, but in your ability to learn, to adapt, and to grow. When you embrace humility, you align yourself with the natural flow of life, becoming a lifelong student of its mysteries and a vessel for its infinite wisdom. Saying "I give up" is often seen as a moment of defeat, a surrender to forces beyond one's control, or an admission of failure. However, what if we reframe that phrase to mean something deeper, something transformative? Saying "I give up" can be a profound act of forgiveness toward yourself, toward others, and even toward the circumstances that have weighed heavily on your heart. Forgiveness is not about condoning or forgetting wrongs, but about freeing yourself from the burden of resentment, anger, and pain. To say "I give up" in this context is to let go of the emotional chains that have held you captive, allowing space for healing, growth, and peace to enter your life. To forgive is to release the grip of the past. Often we carry the weight of grudges, the sting of betrayals, or the disappointment of unmet expectations. These emotional burdens can feel like heavy stones in a backpack we refuse to set down, even as the weight grows unbearable. When you say "I give up," you are not giving up on life or yourself, but on the need to carry those stones any longer. You are choosing to stop replaying the pain, to stop fueling the fire of bitterness, and to stop allowing the past to dictate your present. Forgiveness in this sense is an act of liberation. It is not about pretending the hurt never happened, but about reclaiming your power by no longer letting it define you. Saying "I give up" can also be an act of forgiveness toward yourself. How many times have you held yourself to impossible standards, berated yourself for mistakes, or clung to guilt for things you wish you had done differently? Self-forgiveness is one of the hardest yet most essential forms of forgiveness. It requires you to confront your imperfections, to acknowledge your humanity, and to extend to yourself the same compassion you would offer a dear friend. When you say "I give up," you are choosing to let go of self-judgment and the relentless pursuit of perfection. You are allowing yourself to be enough as you are, flaws and all. This is not about excusing harmful behavior, but about recognizing that you are a work in progress, deserving of grace and understanding. Forgiveness is not a one-time act, but a process, and saying "I give up" can be the first step in that process. It is a declaration that you are ready to stop fighting battles that no longer serve you, whether those battles are with others or within yourself. Often we resist forgiveness because it feels like a concession, as though forgiving someone means letting them win or invalidating our pain. But forgiveness is not about the other person, it is about you. It is about reclaiming your peace, your joy, and your ability to move forward unencumbered. When you say "I give up," you are choosing to prioritize your well-being over the need to be right, to hold on to anger, or to seek vengeance. To forgive is also to acknowledge the complexity of being human. People make mistakes, act out of ignorance, and sometimes hurt others in ways they do not fully understand. This includes you. When you say "I give up," you are recognizing that holding on to resentment or self-blame does not change what has happened. It only perpetuates the cycle of pain. Forgiveness, on the other hand, interrupts that cycle. It creates a space for empathy, for understanding, and for the possibility of reconciliation, if not with others, then within yourself. Forgiveness does not mean you have to invite the person who hurt you back into your life. It means you are choosing to release the hold they have on your emotions, allowing yourself to heal and grow beyond the pain. Saying "I give up" is also an act of trust. It is a recognition that some things are beyond your control, that you cannot force others to change, and that you cannot rewrite the past. Forgiveness requires you to trust that letting go is not the same as giving in. It is about surrendering to the reality of what is and finding peace within it. This kind of surrender is not passive, it is an active choice to stop resisting the flow of life and to accept that healing comes not from clinging to pain, but from releasing it. When you say "I give up," you are choosing to trust that the act of forgiveness will lighten your load, open your heart, and make room for new possibilities. Forgiveness is also an act of courage. It takes immense strength to confront the pain, anger, and disappointment that often accompany the need for forgiveness. It takes even more strength to let go of those emotions and the stories you have attached to them. Saying "I give up" is not a sign of weakness, but a testament to your resilience. It is a declaration that you will not let the wounds of the past continue to dictate your present or your future. Forgiveness is not about erasing the scars, but about allowing them to remind you of your strength, your capacity to endure, and your ability to transform pain into wisdom. Saying "I give up" is also a way of breaking free from the illusions that keep you stuck. One of these illusions is the belief that holding on to anger or resentment somehow protects you from being hurt again. In reality, these emotions only keep you tethered to the source of your pain. Forgiveness, on the other hand, is an act of liberation. When you forgive, you are not condoning the hurtful actions or dismissing their impact. You are simply choosing to untangle yourself from the web of negativity they have created. Saying "I give up" is a way of saying I choose freedom over fear, peace over pain, and love over bitterness. Forgiveness also opens the door to compassion. When you let go of the need to hold grudges or to punish yourself for past mistakes, you create space for understanding and empathy. You begin to see others and yourself not as perfect beings, but as people navigating their own challenges, fears, and insecurities. Saying "I give up" allows you to step back from the narrative of blame and judgment and to view the situation with a broader perspective. This does not mean you have to justify or accept harmful behavior, but it does mean you can choose to respond with kindness rather than anger, with grace rather than bitterness. Saying "I give up" is also an act of self-love. When you forgive, you are prioritizing your own well-being over the need to cling to pain or resentment. You are acknowledging that your peace of mind is more important than holding on to the past. Forgiveness is a gift. You give yourself a gift that allows you to move forward, unburdened and open to the possibilities of the future. It is a way of saying I deserve to be free from this pain, and I am choosing to release it. This act of self-love is not selfish, it is necessary. For when you forgive, you create a ripple effect of healing that extends beyond yourself to everyone you encounter. Saying "I give up" is not about giving up on justice, accountability, or growth. It is about giving up on the need to control what cannot be controlled, to rewrite what cannot be rewritten, and to hold on to what no longer serves you. It is an act of faith in your ability to heal, in the resilience of the human spirit, and in the transformative power of forgiveness. When you say "I give up," you are choosing to release the heavy burdens of anger, resentment, and self-blame. You are choosing to step into the lightness of forgiveness where healing and peace can take root. And in doing so, you are reclaiming your power, your joy, and your freedom.